Hi, I'm Dan Dewald, and this is my 2004 Volvo S60 2.5T. And pay special attention if you're doing a timing belt job. There are two variants of the tensioner because there was a mid-year engine adjustment. So this is the second half of the year 2004 Volvo S60. The error code is due to a timing belt replacement. So the camshafts are not lined up correctly. They're off ever so slightly. And by that I mean ever so slightly, nothing that's obvious. The reason I'm running my car now is, one, I want you to listen to it. It sounds totally normal while it throws this code. No performance issues. And two, the temperature is 50 degrees outside, and I just want it to be a little bit warmer as far as engine temp when I make sure my tensioner is set correctly, okay? So I'll turn this car off now, and I'll pull out this code reader so it doesn't drain my battery. I want to show you the old timing belt. I want to show you the tensioner. So I purchased this car for $850. Good deal. Whenever you buy something from Facebook, Marketplace, or wherever, Craigslist, I don't trust somebody's word unless I have written documentation on the vehicle or in the glove compartment box that this work has been done to replace water pumps and timing belts. And I usually like to inspect them, and I put it off when I purchased this one. Nothing adverse happened, but it came really, really close, and let me show you. On top of this dumpster is my original timing belt. Now, if you were to look at any old timing belt, those cracks alone would justify replacement. And there you see it, that there is a tear in it, and this thing is whizzing around a lot as the engine's running, and so it was only a matter of time until this belt would have let loose. I would have had valve on piston contact, and that engine would be basically, you know, a more pricey repair than it merits paying. So it would have been toast. It would have ruined the whole car. If you look at the tensioner, a couple things to note. It's an INA tensioner, and it's a Volvo brand timing belt. It's original stuff with a service life of about 100,000 miles, and it ran until 167. So if you look on the edges of this, you're going to see grease coming out and belt debris and all that. So this thing was far, far, far past any sort of safety margin and beyond its service life, and then some 60,000 miles, right? So it was bad. And when I saw that, I did the timing belt. So it sounds fine, but it's not. There's variable valve timing on this vehicle, which does have some play in the camshafts. I locked it down using a front side camshaft locking tool, which was available from a mechanic in Canada. So it was $60. It arrived 5 days later. And when you slipped it in, it could be positioned correctly where it doesn't have any movement at all, but it is not the gold standard by any means. In fact, it would be inferior to a rear camshaft locking tool. And if you have the ability, the means, the money, mechanical know-how to lock down your camshafts, then that's the proper way of doing it. The improper way of doing it on a post-1998 vehicle is what I did. Is, you know, if you choose to use a tool at all to lock it. Either at some point it moved a tooth or two and caused this timing error, which means I get to redo the job. This is just my little intro. But if you find yourself with your car throwing error codes right after your timing belt replacement, do it yourself to save, you know, $1,000 on labor or whatever they charge you at your local shop. Here we are together, and I wanted to sort of show you the engine's running fine. The belt justifiably needed replacing. The job itself wasn't that hard to do. I haven't done it 100% correct yet, but I don't believe it's beyond my abilities. And I did call a shop. I told them what I did, I told them where I was at, and they quoted me $300 to retime the engine using everything. Around there, he said. So I thought, well, why don't I at least try it 2 more times myself if I'm so close? And if I get it right, then it's done. And if I don't, well, that's my backup plan. I went ahead and took off the covers from my timing belt, serpentine belt. I removed that, and a cross brace and a cover, okay? So what I did is I double checked my yellow paint marks with a paint pen against the actual marks on the car, and I found out that they were not perfect. It looks like whoever did this was right-handed, not me. They hit it sideways, and it ended up being a calibration error. So the marks were off. Additionally, the camshafts moved during the timing belt being put back on, probably because of an inferior locking tool or just carelessness. I think you could do this entire job without a locking tool if you were cautious. Ideally, you have a good locking tool. These camshafts don't move from the time you take the belt off to the time you put it back on again, and you don't have to worry about this. But if you do run into problems that are small, it is easy to sort of get it back into shape. I took duct tape and I put it on either side of the said timing notch underneath this cover. And so when I look at it now, I know it needs to go in between the silver marks. And I'll go ahead and remove these when the job is done so no one else sees my handiwork if I sell this car at 300,000 miles. So that was the issue though, and I was able to, by hand, move them. You could also use a hex wrench that fits into the sides of these, but little force was necessary. And now the important part is locking these things down while still keeping them in time. And I'll follow up once I've completed that. All right, I know I look a little crazy, as one should. I realigned the timing marks. The tool I purchased was less than adequate. I would not recommend it, though it's very temptingly convenient, but it could cause more harm than good. But I really did the best I could to line up the marks. I turned over the engine 2 times to check for any valve piston contact, put the serpentine belt and all that stuff back together again. So now I've erased the trouble code that I got before, and I'm going to see what happens. It's either going to blow up, which it entirely could, or it will start. I can breathe again. Well, I'll tell you what, my engine's shaking because I have the crossbar off still. I can feel that. But no bam, boom, wow, explosions. So that's good. I really did hold my breath, I think. I'll have to review the video. But so what I've done is aligned it again. It's possible that I made an error again, in which case there's always tomorrow, but I'm pretty worn out today as far as this whole project. I want my engine to reach temperature. As with last time, there's no trouble code until you have to reset. So you run your engine, turn it off, and then turn it on again. So now that I know my car is not hopefully going to blow up in the next couple of seconds, I don't believe it will now. It's been spinning hundreds of times. I probably will let it reach temperature, turn the car off, put the support bar on, and then start it up again with engine mount in place, and then we'll see what happens. What I'll do is I'll run like this for, let's say, 5 minutes, let it reach temp, and then restart the engine to see if I have any fault codes. If I don't have any fault codes then I'm going to be a happy camper. If I do again, I might consider taking it into a shopper and having him take care of it. All right, that's it. I'm tired, as you can tell, but that was the second time with this timing belt trying to get the tooth aligned correctly before my marks were made with a yellow tire paint pen, and they went ahead and caused more problems than they helped. It made me calibrate my engine incorrectly because they were ever so slightly off. So we recalibrated it, if you will, retimed it. It was documented, and now I'm mumbling, tired, and all cracked out from too much coffee earlier today. So far so good. No check engine light. If one pops on, then I'm taking it to a shop. I just decided that now. No more messing around with this guy. But so far so good. Looks like we might be able to even get some engine data while it's running. And I'm just keeping this on because, you never know what you might catch on film. So I have this auto fix with a whatever Chinese knockoff thing with the Volvo codes loaded onto it, and it basically lets me delete the service reminder for free, and didn't cost very much off of either Amazon or eBay. So my RPMs are steady. Nothing's popping up immediately besides the headlight out, and I'll take care of that later on. So let's turn it off and start it one more time without the engine mount in place, just to see if I throw a code. Because if I have to rip it apart again, I don't want to put it together. Okay, we're off. All right, so at least right now, we'll do a test drive. No check engine light. We were able to fix it. Congratulations if you've made it this far into my YouTube channel. No one has watched the whole video before. Congratulations to whoever this person is. But we'll finish the car up now and then take it for a test drive. Yes, I'm pretty happy.